The contents of this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. If you have a specific health concern or condition, please consult a qualified healthcare professional. For more details, check out herguru.uk/disclaimers. Welcome to amazing, brilliant, gorgeous, wonderful trauma recovery redefined from struggle to strength. Today, we are delving deep into the realms of trauma recovery and resilience. I'm Cheryl, your host, and morning here, we are not holding back today. We're going to be exploring strategies to transform your life because, as John Powell once said, the only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. So if you are feeling stuck, like you're on a treadmill, that's coming up. But before we do, let me introduce you to a lovely lady called Toni. This episode of ABGW is brought to you by Her Guru Coaching and Hypnotherapy, exploring the potential within. Her Guru provides both physical and mental fitness coaching and hypnotherapy services. You can find out more details by visiting herguru.uk. Once upon a time, in the bustling streets of London, there lived a woman called Toni. By day, she was a high-flying advertising exec, orchestrating multi-million-pound contracts with ease. But by night, her life was marred by relentless nightmares, haunting echoes of unresolved childhood psychological trauma. Toni's nightmares were relentless, replaying scenes from her painful past that she desperately wanted to forget. These tormenting dreams had taken a toll on her life, rendering her incapable of forming long-lasting friendships. Her relationships with her boyfriends, hopeful about planning their future together, would inevitably wither under the weight of her past. Her childhood had been marred by unimaginable pain. Her parents, who were supposed to be her protectors, had subjected her to repeated beatings for minor indiscretions. These scars, both physical and emotional, had lingered with Toni into adulthood. In the year 2022, Toni lived in a small flat in the heart of London. She cherished her solitude, finding solace in the silence of her own space. To alleviate the costs of living in London, she had a lodger, Michael, from Newcastle. He stayed with her from Monday to Thursday, but their lives were so hectic that they often passed each other like ships in the night, hardly having time for any meaningful interactions. As Toni's struggles grew, she yearned for a way to break free from the shackles of her traumatic past. It was during one of her lowest points that she crossed paths with Cheryl, a mental health coach who specialized in helping individuals like Toni overcome their inner demons. Do you struggle to rise above any of life's challenges that come your way? Maybe you've gone from having, plenty of money and a big house to living from paycheck to paycheck in a small apartment. Or perhaps you've experienced the loss of a relationship that's devastated you and you've been unable to bounce back and continue to live the life of your dreams. Or maybe you've had some sort of childhood trauma that you constantly look back at, feeling guilty about why it is that you can't move on from this pain. However, if you find yourself feeling stuck looking back and wishing things could either have remained the same or that things have been different, you're probably living in the past. And if you're like me, you've noticed that you're still suffering a lot of emotional pain over an upsetting event that you experienced long ago, or you might be stuck in your history, unable to move forward. Now, although some would argue, what's so bad about living in the past? The fact is that by doing so means that you're not in the present. You're not dealing with reality. It's flying by without you grabbing onto it to move forward and achieve your life's aspirations. So let's look at some of the ways that we can stop living in the past and maybe live in the present and enjoy the gift that the present is. You'll have to excuse me because I still have a cold. In Groundhog Day, there's a particularly impactful scene that illustrates the concept of breaking free from the past and living in the present. And it's the moment when Bill Murray, or Phil Collins, finally starts to use his unique situation for personal growth and decides to start helping others. And after numerous repetitions of the same day, Phil transitions from using the time loop for selfish purposes to improving himself and then positively impacting the lives of the people around him. I think there's a scene where he catches a boy from falling from a tree and then he performs the Heimlich maneuver to save a guy from choking. And then he helps a group of elderly women, I think, with their car. And then he's playing the piano at a party, obviously showcasing the skill that he's learned through his repeated days. And the thing is, this sequence is a real turning point for Phil. It, to me, it represents his shift from despair and cynicism to embracing his current situation and making the most of it. And he begins to focus on the present and uses his knowledge of each day's events to make positive changes both in his life and in the life of others. So for me, we can learn a lot. We can learn that living in the past can be a tempting escape from challenges of the present, but ultimately it robs us of the opportunity to fully embrace our future. And by acknowledging tendencies, mine and yours, to dwell in the past, we can take the necessary steps to really reconnect with ourselves and live in the present moment. And I know that's hard because it starts with being honest with ourselves. And that is so hard. It's been so hard for me admitting that sometimes we've been stuck in a sort of time warp. But it's only when we begin to make those changes that we can move forward. So you might be stuck in the past if every day feels like Throwback Thursday. You're constantly dwelling on the past, and it's like trying to drive while looking through the rear view mirror all the time. Or you're sleeping like you're a hibernating bear. You know, when you hit the hay, your dreams become a highlight reel of your past, and you can't wait to hit the play button. You're practically glued to your computer. The glow of the screen keeps you distracted so that you don't then have to deal with any changes that are going on in your life. Or you're constantly trying to escape from reality, you know, whether that's getting lost in a book or becoming some cleaning maniac or even knocking back, you know, too many. You're always on the move, and it's almost like you're trying to avoid facing the music of things. Okay, so you're in denial about your current situation. Accepting that you're flying solo or that your home isn't what it used to be is tough. And maybe you can bring yourself to rearrange the furniture or ditch, you know, stuff that's gathering dust because it's like, I don't know, a time capsule in your past. But if you see yourself in these points, it's time to admit it. You're stuck in the past. But don't worry. What I'm going to do is talk you through a roadmap to get you back here in the present with me. So, back to the future, living in the now. One crucial step towards living in the now is setting clear goals for ourselves. I've mentioned goals in the past, and to me, goals are almost like helping your mind to focus truly on what you want. Because by charting our course and identifying what we truly want in life, we can create a roadmap that leads us towards a more fulfilling future. Whether it's decluttering our current physical space or letting go of old belongings or even considering a change of scenery, to me, taking action is the essential step in breaking free from the grip of the past. In the movie About Time, there's a particularly meaningful scene that I think encapsulates the essence of living in the now. And I think it's towards the end of the film, there's a moment where Tim has learned how to use his time traveling ability, not to change the past, but to appreciate the present. And in this pivotal scene, where Tim decides to live each day twice, the first time he experiences the day normally with all its worries and frustrations. And then the second time he relives the same day, but this time he focuses on savoring every moment and finding joy in the small everyday experiences. And it's, for me, it's totally amazing that he appreciates the beauty in the interactions with his family, the charm of the mundane, and the overall richness of just an ordinary life. And it's great, when you think about this concept of mindfulness and the importance of appreciating the present, it just shows how a change in perspective can transform the same sets of experiences from routine or stressful to joyful and meaningful. And it's great because it's beautiful the way that you see Tim's realization that the key to happiness lies in living each moment to its fullest rather than trying to alter or escape it. It's a really powerful message for embracing the now. Now that we've diagnosed the problem, it's time to reconnect with yourself and pave the way to a fulfilling life. So here's how. Come clean with yourself. Admit that you've got a problem is the first step towards recovery. Say it with me. I've been living in the past and it's time to change that. Decide how to get back to the present. Do you need to declutter and ditch old stuff? Sometimes moving on literally means moving. Set your life goals. We've talked about goals in the past, and it's important that you chart a course because you want to live and you want to move towards living your dreams. So take care of number one, look after yourself, look after the person that's looking at you in the mirror, and start focusing on your physical health and your mental well-being. Deal with any of your feelings, understand your emotions, give yourself permission to mourn if you need to. I mean, one of the things that one of the things that's been most profound for me is that in the last couple of years, two really important people, family members have died. And I think I found it really hard to deal with their passing away. I don't know if I wanted to deal with it. Maybe I was trying to pretend that it wasn't really happening and that I would be able to deal with it. But the thing is, you can't fool grief. You have to deal with it. So for me, what was really important was just remembering how much fun times I had when I was with them, what they had taught me, what I had learnt about myself through their eyes. And it was then easier for me to move on. But what it did, all this, even just thinking about it now, just makes me feel sad. But the thing is, what it really did help was it made me realize that I need to stop wasting time, and treat each day as a gift and make the most of every 24 hours. So that's what I'm inviting you to do. Start now. Amazing, brilliant, gorgeous, wonderful. Helping women just like you who are unhappy, perhaps even with your supposedly quote unquote good life. This is a mum and daughter duo, not pulling any punches as we explore trauma recovery and ideas for building resilience. So you work smarter and definitely not harder to create a transformational life, a life you love more often than not. Cheryl, with her gentle yet determined demeanour, began working with Toni. Through probing questions and the power of hypnotherapy, Cheryl guided Toni on a journey to confront and heal the deep-seated wounds of her past. Together, they delved into Toni's memories, unraveling the tangled emotions that had held her hostage for such a long, long time. With Cheryl's unwavering support, Toni embarked on a path of transformation. She learned to release the burden of her past piece by painful piece and embrace the beauty of the present moment. Cheryl's guidance provided Toni with the tools she needed to finally leave her traumatic past behind. As the months passed, Toni's nightmares began to subside, replaced by a newly found sense of peace and clarity. Her life slowly transformed as well. She began to form genuine friendships, and her romantic relationships bloomed into loving partnerships that looked towards the future with hope and not fear. In the end, Toni's story became one of resilience and redemption. Through the guidance of Cheryl and her own unyielding determination, she learned that it was possible to rise above the darkness of the past and live a life filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. So as the years went by, Toni's life continued to unfold, a testimony to the power of healing and the strength of the human spirit. So that was how Toni decided to deal with her situation. For me, embracing the future and breaking free of the past, of course, can be a challenging journey. It requires a great deal of courage, determination, and a strong sense of self-worth. However, it's important to remember that you're not alone in this endeavor. There are individuals who genuinely want to support you in achieving success. Therefore, it's crucial to overcome any fears that you have about reaching out to others for assistance. You shouldn't feel hesitant in asking for help. We all need to sometimes put our hands up and just let ourselves be helped. Believe in yourself, my friend, because you're capable of so much greatness. Feel that power within you, that unstoppable flame. Hear the whispers of your own potential cheering you on. Come on, never give up. And most importantly, don't be afraid of believing in yourself. You're stronger than you think you are. I have learnt that the hard way. You're capable of so much more than you know, and you're worthy of the life you desire. So go ahead, break free from the past, unleash your potential, embrace the future. You've got this. So that's it for this episode. And as we wrap up today's journey, remember, embracing the future is all about painting your dreams on that vast canvas of possibility. So take care of yourself, nurture your mind, body, and soul. And remember to set achievable goals that will lead you to your destiny, because you are not alone in this transformation or journey. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't subscribed already, remember to do that, because you are amazing, brilliant, gorgeous, wonderful. Bye for now.